steak. Yeah.
It's compulsory one visit.
Oh, is it? That's kind of. I wish I was closer to staying more often. I actually like these kinds of things. Prayer meetings, Bible studies. I get my and the stupid thing is when I was in Calgary, I wouldn't bat an eye for half an hour to church.
Not lost on anybody that distance and time doing weird things.
Well, but it's dangerous, Yeah. It's different when you can tell well Deer have returned.
Should we wait a moment or two for the colony to come?
Colony? Colony from the Scepter?
The Scepter colony, yes, the colony.
This isn't set in stone because there's something wrong, but that's kind of, let's do it.
I will check out and see if anybody's coming. If not, we will start.
Yeah, usually the secretary's here.
Yeah.
I like to be present.
I'll have Fritz's piece. Yeah, yeah.
And I said,
Still, I watch my boyish figure. It's not working well.
yeah, she just made a,
I do not see anyone's lights or hear rumbling V8s, so they.
They thought that I was coming.
The
I'm assuming we're at 6 to 8.
somewhere in there. Yeah, we're at 7. Somewhere in there, or 6, somewhere in the neighborhood. All right, everyone, grab a coffee, grab some cake. If you're watching us online, grab a coffee, grab some cake, wherever you are, or whatever you've got sitting around the house, cheese and crackers, or cat treats, if I know Allie. Whatever you've got in your house. And it's the same notes that we've had the last few weeks, so I didn't post them on a PDF on Facebook. So if you're joining us online, hopefully you still have your notes from the last couple of weeks, last week, as we'll continue to use those. But before we do that, I want to address an issue that young Miss Shelley brought up last week, which I thought was a very good point, and that is about the dark nature of what we've looked at in the first few weeks. And so I'm going to hand you this as a path or a walkthrough to help us see what's actually going on. Sorry, this one wasn't online. If you're watching us, it should be self-explanatory. If you ever have taught or been in education, you know about the bell curve. And the bell curve states that it's a bit of a curve just like that with a flat spot here or an incline and then an incline that way. And most times you do grading or as you work through things, there's the bell curve. And that is some kids will struggle with low grades, but there'll be an average grade in the middle, and then there'll be fewer people on the high end. So you'll get a percentage that is on the low end of the marking spectrum and a percentage on the high end, but the bulk are kind of in the middle. Well, Romans is an inverted bell curve. If you can think of it that way, that is, it starts at a high point, and that is, Paul says in chapter 1, verse 7, to the saints in Rome. That's the high part of identity. And then the bell curve begins to dip down all the way to chapter 6, which is where we're at now, in the bottom of the trough, as it were. And so in 1:7 he says, the saints, and then he says, the lawless, the dead, the slaves. And that takes us into some of the darkest metaphors of the Christian life that bring us into. But the fact is that why do we have to take the journey down? So we can come back up. That's right. We need to go through the honest journey. Whether we talk about the 12-step programs like AA, where you have to get to the bottom first before you can get up the other side. And a lot of times, those of you who work in interpersonal issues, you know that you have to get to honesty, what's actually going on, and you have to kind of get through some of the the thinness or the falseness to get to the reality of what is going on in the relationship. And so that's exactly what Paul does. He takes us down this curve of what is actually going on in our relationship with God, that we are indeed lawless, we are indeed dead in sin and our trespasses, and that ultimately we are dead as slaves. If the gospel ended there in chapter 6, where would we be? It would be awful. Like, who'd want to stay there? Like, good news. Oh, am I having... Oh, okay. Well, pause.
Let's start over. Does that mean I get to, we're gonna wrap up and start?
Yep, probably have time.
It's a very soft, dense cake.
It is, it's a hot milk cake. Hot milk. I think you should have some Fritz.
No.
No, no, peer pressure, resolute,
You wanna just smell a piece?
walking.
I have one, and just, I go crazy.
Yeah, and if not, I can shut down and restart.
It's like one.
It's really good.
Self-control.
Yeah, it's-
It is, but I can stop it and restart the screen. We're just going to pause while we work out some technical difficulties. Talk amongst yourselves.